Welcome back to Life and Hair. I want to achieve two things in this video. One is to update you on Giselle 2 years on, and secondly is to address a particular comment that one of my subscribers, Rebecca Ann, left. So Rebecca Ann left a comment 2 days ago saying, and this was to the Beltress Rosella review video. She said, I started losing my hair in 2018 and I'm just starting to come around to where you are. I was worried about being too extra when other mums would wear pajama pants. Now I'm slowly embracing my alternative hair and my extraness. I want to be pretty and feminine. Fortunately, my husband loves me with or without hair. That's very fortunate. I specifically wanted to address the concept of extraness because in the Rosella review video, I mentioned at the end of it that I'd been invited to a birthday party and I had a new outfit on, which I really loved. And that outfit would have been really nicely finished off with the Ashley wig in Honey Rooted. I actually put the Ashley wig on. I thought that the whole package looked really nice and I was very happy with how I was presenting. But then right at the last minute I started to doubt myself because I was worried about turning up to these people's house for this friend's birthday lunch and putting them, making them feel uncomfortable because I turned up in a wig. And wow, you know, who on earth turns up in a wig in this day and age? I mean, I don't know anybody who turns up in a wig to anything. I'm always the only one who's wearing false hair, as far as wigs and toppers are concerned. However, lots of younger people wear extensions. So I went out with Steve yesterday and we took a drive in my Morris Minor. And, you know, I reflected on what that comment meant to me. Because this new phase in my life, my desire to change up my appearance is a really strong thing that's kind of taken me a little bit by surprise. It's been facilitated by weight loss surgery at the end of last year. But even the weight loss surgery was really as a result of a change that was happening within me. I mean, I knew about weight loss surgery before, but I never booked in for it. Whereas I'd reached a point where I thought, yeah, that is a viable thing for me to do, and I'm ready to take on the weight loss and all that the weight loss would entail. And around that time, I restarted this YouTube video and started to upload more regularly and got into Dress Your Truth, looking into the type 2 woman, which was a soft and subtle woman. I've actually got a secondary type 1, which means that I integrate into the soft and subtle image, I integrate a more vibrant, more uplifting vibe. And so when you look at a colour like this, it's really quite a bright green. But I feel that because of the style of it, because of the style of the dress, it's incredibly floaty. It's got an underdress and then this floaty thing over the top, which is sheer and very, very cool. And I feel it's very type 2 because it's got that lovely ethereal quality to it. I've paired this dress with these slip-on mules. And if you look at this colour, yes, it is a green, but it's actually a very muted green. And I feel that the overall effect mutes down that dress. I'm not, for example, wearing orange slip-ons. I'm not wearing kind of white trainers or anything like that. I'm muting down the green and keeping it tethered down to the type 2. Again, with these earrings, there's the elongated oval of these earrings, and then there are 2 sort of rings, circles in silver, and the one inside is a mother of pearl. Again, I'm using my silver ring today, which is the 2 oak leaves wrapped around my finger, Very, very simple. That's it. Underwear, dress, slip-on shoes, and 2 items of jewellery. You know, really, the truth is that extraness means different things to different people. And when the desire to enhance your presentation and use colours and clothing and hair and all sorts of accessories that you've never used before, it's something that comes up from inside you. It's kind of an ambition or a desire. It's an emotional drive to be that person that's been hiding inside you for years. As you know, for years I loved to wear my black clothes. I was in black, grey or navy blue practically all the time. I was not happy with my size. I was not happy with my presentation. I wasn't wearing hair on a regular basis, and I was at the mercy of whatever phase of my androgenic alopecia I was going through at the time. And I was not really satisfied with myself, but slowly as time went on, this other version of myself kind of was born into my life, and I'm just running to catch up with that. It's kind of like an emotional or spiritual renewal, I feel, that's happened in my life, and I'm just answering the call to that. I don't feel guilty. I don't feel ashamed about it. I understand that it's a natural process that a lot of people go through. And this video is addressing those other people who are going through the same thing. It's something that needs to be honored. It's something that needs to be addressed, and you need to have fun with it. It's about fun. It's about living your life, expressing yourself, breaking boundaries, putting yourself in uncomfortable positions, or getting out of your comfort zone. That's the sort of thing that I'm involved in doing currently. And that's what extraness means to me at this time in my life. But I do definitely feel that I've been through probably about, I would say, around 18 years of drabness, which I feel now has come to an end. You know, right now, actually wearing the synthetic hair is part of the ornamentation. I can't really describe it very well. I'm struggling to put it into words. You know, that if it doesn't look like my natural hair, that's part of the look. That's part of the overall ornamentation of my whole presentation, including, you know, I mean, obviously these nails, they're obviously not mine. And also, like I said in some very early video, maybe in the second video I ever posted, that when you start having perfect hair, and just the perfect hair for the mood of the day, that being aware of your presentation actually starts to spread to what you're wearing, what footwear you've got, the makeup, you know, the whole package. The whole package is revamped. I no longer want to put on, like a comfortable little brown bob and make it look like it's actually my hair. So therefore, it takes the worry away. It takes the shame away. It takes the taboo away. Because I'm not desperate for people to think it's my own hair. What I'm interested in is people looking at the overall picture, that the hair goes with the dress goes with the shoes, you know, the nails go with the makeup, so that it's the whole package. And if one day I'm wearing a blonde bob and the next day I'm wearing incredibly long curly brown hair, that's all part of that day's look. So if we take that lunch with Jon and Esther as an example, we were invited to their house and I wore my Top Smart straight 18-inch and I wore it up. And that's the first time they ever saw me in anything like that. And they didn't really make any kind of fuss.
Well, he wouldn't have noticed because he's like me.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
But I spoke to her afterwards. We went out for tea on another occasion, and I said, you know, you've probably noticed that my hair's looking pretty different at the moment, and you know, rather than worry about what my biological hair is looking like, I tend to put on these extensions. I call them extensions. But then when we went to watch the football there the other night, what did I wear then?
I can't remember.
Well, maybe it was the same one, but I wore it down. I didn't wear it up. It was obviously down, and I think I wore the maxi teal dress that you've seen before, and a nice pair of, you know, nice summery shoes. They didn't bat an eyelid. And I'm surprised, because Jon is somebody who I felt always noticed every little change, especially when it comes to hair.
I don't know why you thought that.
I don't know.
I mean, you see, the thing is, you know, women wear long nails, but, you know, their nails aren't really that long.
No, or long eyelashes.
Yeah, or high heels. They're not really that tall. You know, why is that? You know.
And in the olden days, in the 1800s, men used to stuff horsehair into their stockings to make their calves stick out.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not like, you know, the adornment of the human body is a new concept.
It was our daughter, actually, that kind of said what needed to be said, and she said, well, you just got to own it.
You got to own it, and you got to be at peace with it.
Yeah.
I think the worst thing you can ever think is, I hope they think that this is my own hair. I hope they don't realise that this is a hairpiece.
Yeah. And what you got to, you know, most of you ladies have got to realise is that men won't notice anyway. There's any woman who's ever just had her hair done and comes back from the hairdressers only to find their husband's not even noticed. Let that be your guide, you know. So it certainly isn't men you should worry about. Perhaps the only women that would ever notice, I'm guessing, are women who wear wigs themselves. Maybe. I don't know. But
Yes, they're more likely to. But the amazing thing about toppers is that you can flick that hair around. I mean, you can flick that hair around. You can put your head upside down and flip it up again. And it's not going to move. You know, it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to look like your hair. Your actual hair is going to be, you know, also on view. It's a really great place to start in order to gain your confidence and gain your comfort and be that person. So I specifically also wanted to address the extraness that Rebecca was talking about. Now, when I think about this concept, I think about Dolly Parton, you know? Because Dolly Parton told the story more than once. I've heard it more than once of when she was a little girl. And she saw a woman, maybe it was a woman of loose morals, or it was just a woman in her town that was very made up, who had the big blonde hair and the heels and the tight clothes. And Dolly Parton recalls that she found that really captivating and very, very inspiring. And she was excited by it, and she wanted to look like that. She's been quoted so many times saying it takes a lot of money to look this cheap. And she was a very beautiful woman to start off with. Lovely hair, beautiful, beautiful face, you know. But she stylized it more and more and more as time went on, until she became sort of a caricature of herself. She was like the Jessica Rabbit version of whoever it was that Jessica Rabbit was based on. And some women have got a real drive to do that. It's a proper drive.
is that, and you've touched upon it, and you've alluded to it, in that maybe people think there's some sort of deceit involved, and a deceit that there isn't there, supposedly, with high heels and long fingernails and
Yeah, because they've been accepted.
yeah. Whereas, you know, if you can get past that, then you should be home free, I should think then, you know, and to think of hair as fashion, really, rather than trying to make it real, you know.
And it has been like that in the West in the past. You know, as not so long ago as the 60s, when people really did love to wear their wigs. And yeah, okay, they didn't look anything like they do now, but it is a fashion statement. And it's also an opportunity to really beautify your look, to really add in some beauty. I mean, some of the colours that those pieces come in. Wow, the blondes will never get brassy. They'll always be beautifully either golden or ashy, or just the lovely long roots with the white blonde tips. I mean, and those rich chestnuts, and like this one, I can sit in the sun for a long time and I'm never going to lose the ash brown, the lovely cool ash brown of this colour that I absolutely adore. And even the length is not a problem for me. You know, I'm totally embracing it, utterly at ease. I can't even tell you what's changed. It seems to be something subconscious has changed in me. Something subconscious has shifted. My entire look has been overhauled. You know, I have no problem now in dressing in very colourful clothes, light colours, you know, wearing the nails, and it's a very, very playful expression. I mean, I wake up in the morning and I think, okay, what am I going to wear today? How do I feel today? It's a really lovely thing, actually. Now, the funny thing is, and this is something that didn't occur to me at all until I actually sat down and thought about it. Extraness, like beautiful hair on demand and different styles and colours, extraness actually spills out into other areas of your life. So in that same vein, I've got ambitions that I've always held in other areas. I mean, I love, for example, all the spiritual side of life and the esoteric side of life. I love to read tarot cards. I love to do psychic readings. I love to mess around with stuff like that. Now, the extraness has come to this area because I've always thought I would love to build a practice of doing that and offer up my services. For these last 18 years that I've been learning about tarot, I've been attending courses, I've been doing psychic readings, it's never really been a serious consideration that I might actually make that step, you know, and express, or at least allow myself to express this desire in my life. But it kind of goes hand in hand with how I like to look these days. It makes it more fun. It's more of a risk. It's more of getting out of my comfort zone. Okay, I'm out of my comfort zone in this area, and that's an ongoing process. Now let's see what I can develop in this area. And, you know, the prospect of putting my services online is now actually materializing. So the website is built. I'm writing the copy for the website. I'm submitting photos for that. And, you know, it's fun. I mean, I'm not relying on this money to pay my mortgage or pay the food. I'm just expressing myself. And that's truly the beauty of this, is that as human beings, I really feel that we have another purpose than just going to work, paying our taxes and cleaning our house, or servicing the family. There's got to be another purpose to our life that is on a higher level, so that when you're on your deathbed at the end of your life, you say, I'm so glad that I had the balls to get out of my comfort zone and do what I really wanted to do. And there are so many incredibly inspiring young women on YouTube and online, and they call it manifesting. I mean, I came across manifesting in the 90s, you know, in the mid-90s when I had my second baby. You know, I was reading books about it and stuff. I mean, I was curious about it, but I never really employed it seriously in my life. But there are young women here who are building through their sheer creativity and imagination, pulling it out of themselves and building the most amazing life for themselves as a game, as a beautiful, spiritual, expressive game. That really, really excites me. And whoever thought that wigs and hair would lead to this amazing game that I'm going to embark on. So in the same way that you might want to put on your hair, whatever stage you're at, be it a topper or extensions or a full wig or whatever, okay, and actually make a declaration to everybody around you in your life that this is you today and it's going to be something else tomorrow. It puts me in mind of when I look at a beautiful regal tree, and in this country we've got, let's say, the oak tree. The way the oak grows, and it's not a small tree, it fills its space, it takes up its space. The trunk is giant, you can't possibly get your arms around it. And then when the branches come, they just extend however far that oak tree needs to stand. And it is completely unapologetic. This is its expression. It was always in the seed, in the acorn. This was what it was always destined to be. And it's kind of the same with us. To follow who we are and to take up the room and to make the statement, this is who I am, this is who I was always destined to be. It's a God-given thing. I don't need to apologize for it. I don't have a role to play in what was implanted in the seed. My role is in allowing that seed to flourish. So I really loved that comment, Rebecca. It really got me thinking, and it allowed me to drill down to explore what it was about that comment that was exciting me, that was making me really want to contemplate it more. On that note, I am going to update you on Giselle. I've had Giselle for 2 years. I've worn her an awful lot. She's really been one of my favourites. She was the second wig I ever got. Of course, you know, she's a Jon Renau number, and Jon Renau makes some amazing hair. And Giselle is in caramel ribbon. So let me show you where we are with her. And let's look at this colour first of all. Caramel ribbon, medium brown base with the most mouth-watering caramel highlights I've ever seen in my life. They are all over this piece. It's totally unrooted. And take into consideration that these caramel highlights are actually quite bright. It gives an amazing uplifting effect to your complexion if you like your brunettes, but you want a little bit more kick and a little bit more excitement out of them. Giselle also has a full monofilament top, which means that you can do the most amazing things with her. You can part her on any side. This is a little bit of scar tape I've put on because I tend to have the parting in the same place every time. Quite a deep lace front and the most natural looking scalp ever, ever, ever. It's not very dense, you know, some pieces are really, really dense and you can hardly see the monofilament parting or the monofilament top, and I sometimes think to myself, well, that's a shame. She does have some good length, this one, and some very definite layers, you see. Apparently this style was based on the hairstyle of a famous model called Giselle. Wouldn't you just love to have hair like this every day? Yeah, it's got a really nice, sophisticated way of kind of curling inwards a little bit. When I first got this one home, I put her on and just took a videoed from every angle, from the top, from both sides. Check out the lace. Amazing. And what's even more amazing about this is truly when you kind of pin her back, and I love my bouffants, you just do a bouffant like this, and it really looks like scalp. I mean, seriously, if I saw this, I would never imagine that it was a wig. I would never imagine, and I've said this so many times that, you know, if I saw somebody who had pinned their hair off their face, I would never imagine that they had the audacity to do that whilst wearing a wig, because it's a big statement. It's like, well, here you go, world. You know, here's my scalp. I've worn her many times like this. And I've gone out to dinner, you know, to people's houses wearing her like this. You know, it's the sort of style that lends itself so well to being put up. Because of the layering. And there's nothing more feminine and beguiling and adorable than lovely layering when you've got your hair up. Now, because I've had her for 2 years and she is actually quite long, I must admit that these bottom bits here have started to get a little bit stiff and a little bit frayed. And although that's how they feel, I don't believe that they actually look that bad. The best things for softening up those bits is this silicone mix, and it's made by Avanti. I got it on Amazon. It's a reasonably big tub. Now what I do is I get a small plastic bag, like a sandwich bag. I put a little bit of water and a big scoop of this stuff on the ends. And I gently massage it in, and then I put those bits of the hair, carefully not putting the top part, because it does soften up the strands a lot and they can become unknotted quite easily. But I just leave it overnight. And then I find in the morning, actually, yeah, it does make a big difference. This is a style that I love to wear, particularly when it's a little bit cooler, because actually there's a lot of hair here. And because it's got all of these layers, it tends to nestle up in your neck. And if you're hot and sweaty like I am at the moment, it can be quite uncomfortable. But although the ends had become quite hard, the top parts never have been affected in the least. In the least. They have remained lovely and soft. This has been one of my favorites. I know that I say that a lot about all sorts of styles, but I promise you, I have worn this one so many times. And I really think that it looks so incredibly natural. It wouldn't worry me at all to go out, especially in the evening, because actually I think this is quite a full and glamorous style. It wouldn't worry me at all going to someone's house for dinner or going to a restaurant wearing this. I think the colouring really looks like you've just been to a salon and gotten the most delectable caramel highlights ever. It's got a lovely shape. Very feminine, very versatile for those of us who love an updo, and I really do. I mean, look how cute that looks. Holds an updo very, very well. And that's what's made it a very, very useful piece for me, and a firm favourite in my wig closet. I hope that you like Giselle. If you've been thinking about getting a Giselle for yourself, I would say that it's a very good investment piece. It's not the cheapest, but especially if you get it on sale somewhere or whatever, getting it will never be a bad purchase, simply because it's so amazingly versatile. It looks incredible down. You can fluff it up. There's not much permatease here at all, so for permatease lovers, you're not going to get that here. The volume comes from the sheer amount of hairs that are in this piece. So if you wanted a little bit of a tousled, glamorous, sexy look, you can achieve that very easily with this. Very easily. If you wanted a sort of an updo, again, it lends itself beautifully. I think Giselle would be one that I would repurchase once its life had been spent and it was no longer wearable. But you know, I've had it for over 2 years. I think that's an incredibly long time to have a wig. I mean, people have always said, oh, you know, your synthetic wigs, they're only going to last for a few months. If you treat them well, if you treat them, you know, with a nice conditioning treatment, and you comb them carefully and you don't mess them around too much and cause too much friction, although some friction is completely unavoidable. I mean, you can't avoid these fibers rubbing up against each other. But even with all of that, I think it's actually lasted amazingly well, and that's why I feel it's a really good investment. So yeah, that's it from Life and Hair today. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.